Welcome, everyone. It's amazing to see so many people spending time with us today. I'm super excited. We've been planning and talking about this for a long time. We have a lot we want to show you today, a lot we want to talk about. We have a new release. We have a lot of examples that we want to show. And we have a lot of thoughts, or a lot of things that we want to talk to you about when it comes to content. So I hope you're going to enjoy this time, and let me start talking about content in the composable era. What does the next 10 years of digital experience what does it have to bring to us? Well, first, we have to take a step back. 20 years ago, in what I would call the web era, the internet tidal wave was for real. Internet was a marketing surface, a new form of communication. It was mainly text and images, very often in funky fonts and colors. It was mainly static content written inside HTML, managed by webmasters. It was very static, and for most companies, it was experiments. At the best, it was marketing. It was the very beginning of digital experience. Then, driven by technological advances, both on the hardware side and the software side, we entered what I would like to call the omni-channel era. It was a time where we focused a lot on new channels. We also got richer experiences, but content was still living in silos. The business behind it was not affected. We did engage in e-commerce to a large degree, and you could say that we were moving from digital being marketing to digital being your store. But it didn't change the organization behind. We still put digital as a thin layer outside of the business, communicating with people through the siloed channels. Omnichannel is still the prevalent way of doing digital, and it was great, but is not the future. Today, we're entering the composable era, where customers are changing. They're changing their expectation. They're no longer interested in a channel-specific experience. They expect you to communicate with them in a personalized, situation-specific and content-specific way. This will change the way you think about all of your business. If digital was marketing in the web era and store in the omnichannel era, in the composable era, digital is your business. Remarkable experiences. We will no longer think about content just as images and text. We need to think about content. We need to think about remarkable experiences as what your customers is left with when they have seen the content and communicated to you through these different channels. And remarkable experiences will be those that are tailored to the person, to the specific context. And you will produce a lot more content. Everyone becomes a publisher. Content becomes your brand. And in this time, efficiency and ability to scale content production will become a core competitive advantage. And the speed of innovation, or the pace of innovation, is changing. Well, maybe in the omnichannel era and the web era, you would remake your website every 5 to 7 years, and you would then have to change your whole content model and everything because you were redoing the whole silo. Now you need to be able to adapt and iterate fast. And therefore, you need a composable architecture. This doesn't only mean that you need APIs and microservices to integrate together. It also means that you have to think differently about how you build your organization, to build your organization composable in smaller groups that can be composed and recomposed as internal and external opportunities and threats arises. The best companies will approach business this way. And in fact, some of the best companies are already doing it. Let's look at an example. It's not an example born in the composable era. It's a company from 1994, but it was born digital. And I think Amazon, there's a lot of things you can say about Amazon, but I think it's a great example of a composable business. Firstly, let's think about remarkable experience. Now, their website may not be stunning and visually beautiful, but it is really, really efficient. It gives you content-specific, situation-specific context, rich with data and metadata. Back when they had 4.5 million customers, this must be quite a long time ago, I think Bezos was quoted saying that they should have 4.5 million website. This is how they have been thinking. Let's think about content-centric. They've been an innovator in customer-driven content, having reviews, customer ratings. They have been driving a lot of metadata on their website, making sure that the content and metadata play together to give you these tailored experiences. And they've been a pioneer in using third-party content. More than half of the products sold on Amazon are sourced from third-party companies delivering content into the Amazon stack that is distributed across their channels for these personal specific experiences. Now, this is probably not perfect, and Amazon, as many, probably have a long way to go. But I think it's a good example of a composable business. Other examples are Nike. In 2020, Nike started rebuilding their whole stack to an API and composable architecture with modules that can be organized and recomposed as they move along. Burger King, or Restaurant Brands International, is another example. Back in 2018, they started also by rebuilding their infrastructure, but to think about content in a composable way, distributing it more situation specific across all different channels that they have from a single source of truth. Now, the best companies would operate in this way. And let's see what it means. But let's talk about Sanity for a second. Many of you know Sanity well, and some of you may be new to Sanity. We are created exactly for the requirements of the composable era. And developers love it. If you go in G2 and you look at our reviews, you would see developers raving about their ability to customize. But we have wanted to do more. We've talked about it and we worked on it for years. We have wanted to deliver the same amazing experience to editors as we do to developers. And you can again go back to the reviews and you will see that editors, they have been excited. They have been happy with the experience we've given, but it's not been at the same raving level as we've given to developers. Today, on the back of our release of our new Studio V3, we introduce Sanity Composable Content Cloud. Our Composable Content Cloud has three main areas. Firstly is the content lake, a real-time database for your content model. It enables you to shape exactly the content model that you need, and it's easy to customize, it's easy to iterate. You get machine-readable content that is separated from design. Earlier this year, we released shared content. Now you can reference multiple content lakes in your organization. We're enabling you to deliver content from a single source of truth across the whole organization. Sitting on top of the content lake, we have the Sanity Studio. That is your application for managing and creating content. It's a real-time collaborative application. It's easily configurable and is ultimately customizable. Today, we are releasing our next version, Sanity Studio V3. We're taking the experience to a whole new level. We have upgraded the customization framework, making it easier and faster to get the custom studio you want. We have introduced workspaces, making it easier to work in environments. And we introduced composable forms, making it easier to automate your workflows. And last but not least, we're making the Sanity Studio embeddable, enabling you to take the studio and work with it closer to where your experience lies. This embodies what we've always been about, enabling developers to build amazing experience for your organization and for your content teams. Our studio is the most customizable and most flexible content application for the composable era. And then last but not least, there's one more animation supposed to loop. And last but not least, we have the APIs. APIs are at the heart of a composable software. Now, we have a wealth of APIs, and many of you developers know that we have much more APIs than I'm going to mention here. But I'm going to highlight the three most important ways to think about our APIs. We got APIs for connecting other data sources, ERP system, CRM system, databases, e-commerce, you name it. It should be easy. It should be possible. Content doesn't have to live in the content lake. It could just be referenced in the content lake. And we've got APIs for tools, enabling you to connect tools for translation, image annotation, SEO, etc., so that you could work with your content in a more efficient way. And thirdly, we got great APIs for distribution, enabling you to distribute your content from one source of truth to any application, to any channel, to any situation, whether you're making a website, global knowledge management system, point of sale system, airport kiosks, PDF files, you name it. These 3 areas of our composable content cloud help you accelerate content velocity. Let's take a look at what we think are the requirements for the composable era and how we deliver that at Sanity. So first off, you have composable content. You need to be able to treat your content as atoms and molecules that you could organize, you could reorganize as your business evolves. For that, we are giving you content as data. Now remember, as I said, remarkable experiences is how content is experienced from your customer, is not about the channel where you deliver it. Content is no longer only text and images. That will still be an important part. For this example, I'm going to use a mattress company. There are a lot of them around here in San Francisco. This one is a digital and composable mattress company. So first of all, you have text and images. Of course, you will still have that. But then you have data. You need to think about that data as content. You need to interoperate it with your text and images. And you need to be able to make that a core part of your remarkable experience. But you also have metadata, content that may not be visible for your end user, but is an extremely important part of how you're enabled to deliver a remarkable experience. And remember, all of this is not about the channels, but is about all the people and the situations they will experience your product, your marketing, whatever you're making with your content solution. The second area of composability, you need composable workflows. You need to be able to have a workflows that bends around your business, not something that enables you to bend around how someone thought about a one-size-fits-no-one workflow. Sanity gives you the Sanity Studio, which enables you to build a custom studio. Now let's go back to our mattress example. And they want to make a push for the European market. Now, Danny over in marketing, she's great, but she's often a little bit late. And now she wants to focus on the ability to show that our mattresses, and some of them, are EU allergy compliant. And her launch is in 2 days. With an old system from the omnichannel era, you could just forget about doing this. But in the composable era, maybe this is exaggerated, but these are the kind of situation that you need to be able to respond to. These opportunity that emerges that makes you have to move fast. Now, this requires, and Sanity can help you, change your content model quickly, change your workflow quickly, enable you to quickly have a workflow that lets your content team review and publish, so that you can publish your EU allergy compliant mattresses through your website, your app, or even your French newsletter. This is the way you have to think about workflows, your ability to iterate, your ability to move fast. Now, this was a banal workflow. We're going to show you much more custom and fancier workflows later today. But I wanted to make the point of how you think about composable workflows and why that is important. And finally, composable architecture. This is an essential part of composable. And if you read Gartner, or if you listen and you go online, you would see that composable architecture and the composable architecture enterprise is the most referenced part around composable. We think it embodies more. We think it's especially important in content situation to think about it as more, but you can't get there if you don't have a composable architecture to begin with. Now, Sanity, we're built for composable. Not only do we have these amazing APIs that let you integrate the best of breed tools, let you change them as your needs evolve. We also have advanced custom roles for your various teams that, combined with the customization that we enable you to do, can help you create composable teams and composable workflows that could be arranged and rearranged in the same system from the same source of truth as your needs evolve. This is making Sanity composable and also introducing embeddable. I think we're going to talk a lot more in the years to come about embeddability. You need to bring your content operations in situations closer to your content or closer to other situations. Now we're enabling you to deploy the whole Sanity studio inside your web application, but I think you'll see a lot more from us when it comes to embeddability as we move along. So who is this for? Now, there are many people involved in content operation, and the content teams are extremely important, and I'm going to talk about them in a second. But first, I think it's important to say the Sanity is built for the composable business. We help you achieve your strategy. It's a mission-critical system. It's not a system that is built for the efficiency of one team internally in the organization. It's about helping you reach your goals. So let's look at the people involved and their main responsibilities. So you have product and business managers. They are responsible for the totality of your solution to your customers. They care about reaching your strategic goals. They care about bridging the business strategy and the technology and your ability to iterate and move fast. Next team is content managers and the content teams. Those who has the main job of creating and organizing and publishing the content. They care more and more about automation and new ways of working. This is no longer about WYSIWYG and page building workflows. It's about automating at scale because you're going to handle a lot more content than you used before. You will see the content teams taking a more important role in a composable organization, making content a source of truth in your organization. And then last but not least, definitely not least, you have the developers and the designers. Those who are responsible for creating the experience for others, the workflows for your content team, but also responsible for creating the final digital experience that your customers would experience. Now, we have always cared and thought that developers are the ultimate enablers of the other teams. Not because they are the only one that matters, but it all really starts there. If you don't have good ways for your developers and designers to work on bringing these tools and ultimate experiences to life, then the other teams are not able to do their job. Now, we have always been obsessed about developer experience. And this is the reason. And we're seeing that the best organizations, they're getting these teams right. They're investing in internal developer and designer teams, or being very close to some selected agencies that make them treat this as a business process over time. We're seeing them investing in their content management teams, giving them a more prominent role in the organization. And we're seeing them invest in product managers and business managers. I think in the omni-channel era, your CMS was very often owned by marketing. And again, it was seen as marketing or commerce as a layer outside your business. In the composable era, I think this is shifting back. I think either you would embed organization capable of thinking differently about content and content solutions. You would embed them into your marketing organization. But I think more importantly, this stretches far beyond marketing, because this is how you're going to interact with your customers through your product, through your applications, through their customer service flows. So we're seeing a shift of these solutions being brought back to engineering and to product. Now, today, we're upping the experience for all of these. It will be most visible for the developers who'll get this whole new framework for customizing the studio. Content managers and teams will feel the changes that we have done because they get better, more custom workflows that are more delightful for them to work with. And product and business managers would see the results. So we're moving from the omni-channel to the composable era. Remarkable experiences. Context, not channel-specific experiences. That means higher revenue and higher loyalty. And this area will be much more content-centric. Content is your brand. That means moving faster, delivering more and better content, launching faster, iterating faster. and composable business architecture. That means your ability to adapt faster, to become more future-proof, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. And we're introducing the Sanity Composable Content Cloud, born for the composable era. We were never about siloed omnichannel experiences. Today, we're raising the bar on what you should expect, refining how you're thinking about content. We're giving you customizability to your workflows, to your content model, and we're upping the level from where we were before. We spent thousands of hours of thinking how we can make our product better, and we're really proud of what we're delivering to you today.